Hi, well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Bosque. This is one of the most beautiful natural environments that in any city of America, and we're very fortunate to have it here today and be able to be down here. So, extended welcome. The mayor has been a champion for the environment and quality basic infrastructure in the city, and this project really represents both of those. As an environmental steward, there's many things you can do for a city, and the mayor tackles that on a lot of different facets. This environment of our Bosque is probably the one that's most important to us and most unique for us. So by taking out so many unnative vegetation and fugitive trails, which he'll get into, it speaks a lot to our environment and the importance of this Bosque. This project began, just to give you a little history, started back in 2010 when Mayor introduced ABQ, the plan, and wanted to find quality infrastructure projects that would really enhance the natural living environment for our community. In 2012, a specific project came out entitled the Rio Grande Vision was established. And then over the next year, this project unfortunately became fairly controversial because of some of the proposals that were brought into the city of people that wanted their vision of the Bosque path. But the mayor stayed true to the natural environment and wanted to make sure that we had a natural trail that allowed access to all city users to come down and enjoy this Bosque. So we started with an environmental monitoring plan that started with giving a baseline study of what this Bosque was all the way from Central to Montano, and getting ideas of how we can improve the environment down here while providing access to all of our citizens. We went through extreme political pressure and special interest groups through the next couple of years, figuring out what this trail could be. And luckily enough, through the mayor's stewardship, we remained dedicated to at least a 6-foot wide trail, a natural path that all users could use. And it was not an easy lift for him, and we really do appreciate that. Today we're here because of the commitment to that plan. So then we got into construction through 3 phases of construction, 2 different types of trail, or 2 different distances of segments of trail, and then finally finishing up with the bridge that's behind us and some access up at Tingley area. So it is with great pleasure now that I'm able to introduce the visionary of this project, Mayor Barry. Thank you.
So I told the youth corps, don't blow my cover. I wore my boots and my jeans to make it look like I actually did some work this morning. So whatever you do, never mind. I want to say just a big thank you. This, as Mike said, he said it perfectly. This is our Bosque, and unfortunately, for a long time, it wasn't everybody's Bosque. There were a key group of individuals that would come down here and basically hack their way through the forest, and the brave souls that had the mobility to do that and that had the willingness to do that. But there were miles and miles and miles of rogue trails that were down here. People were cutting their own trails. There was tons of trash, broken bottles, leftover chunks of concrete. And if it was any kind of weather like this morning, we had a big rain yesterday, and here we are standing down here on an all-weather surface. It just was not accessible. And this project really came about through conversations with the community and myself and my family that just wanted to enjoy the Bosque more. I mean, we love to bike, we love to hike, we love to get out and see things, but we just didn't feel like our community had enough accessibility to this beautiful place. And it is a very unique place, and it's something that we should, as a community, protect. We should be great stewards of, and we should pass it on to the next generation better than we found it. And that's what this is all about. And as simple as the project may look, you're standing on crusher fines over a prepared subgrade on a 6-foot wide trail. That is not an overly complicated thing, but this became a very complicated process. There were folks in the community that, hey, come on through. This is great. You're welcome to come on through. This is what it's for. You know, the special thanks really goes to the staff. They took a lot of heat in the community for this. There was a lot of misinformation. There were a lot of people who had appeared to have a vested interest to make sure that this didn't happen. And it wasn't until our community stepped forward, folks that wanted to get down here, folks like Mary and her family, people that stood up and said, we want access to this place. And the staff that you see, Mike Reardon, Barbara Taylor, Matt Schmader is here behind me.
shoulder.
See how he's smiling? He's retired. And our whole group that's here today, Robert Ramirez and his whole staff, meeting after meeting out in the community, talking to people, trying to tamp down the misinformation, and also learning, listening. We did redesign parts of the trail. We did let the community come down and decide where the trail was going to go. So this is really a testament to doing something great that involved the community, and we're thankful to the community. We're thankful to the voices that stood up. Even, you know, the people that had concerns, we're thankful for them coming to the table. We're thankful for people coming in and coaching us to make sure that this project was even better. And if you have taken the time to take this 4-mile trek through the forest, you know what I'm talking about. It's beautiful. It's uplifting. It's good for your soul. It's good for your heart. It's just a wonderful thing. And if you haven't, I just invite you down here. It is an absolutely wonderful experience for our community. If you come down here, you're going to see tremendous diversity on this trail. Last time Marie and I were down here, we saw octogenarians down here. We saw people with kids in backpacks, kids in strollers. Mary and her group come down, they wheel through the bosque, and it's just a neat thing. It's just a neat thing to see our community coming together and enjoying this beautiful place that we call home. I also want to thank these youngsters over here. This is the engine that did a lot of the reclamation work down here. So we had professional folks doing the Crusher Fine Trail, but this is the 3rd year in a row that we've had the Bosque Youth Corps down here. And these couple dozen young leaders have been down here over the last 3 summers, and they've been doing a lot of hard work in the hot sun. They have been picking up, as I said, picking up trash just this year. And this is just 1 out of 3 years. 800 feet of dilapidated, obsolete fencing was taken out. They've installed directional signs. They've replaced vandalized signs. They've removed countless weeds on this last section, which is 1.5 miles out of the 4 miles. They've pruned and trimmed branches on 2 miles of the trail corridor. They've removed hundreds of pounds of concrete, old broken glass, they've painted metal handrails that are here. They've sowed native bosque grass seed mixed throughout. And one of the things that we talked about early in this project that we have done is we've closed a lot of these spider trails, these rogue trails that people had cut over time just to get their way through the bosque. They have actually closed and seeded over those trails. They have wrapped cottonwood trees with chicken wire to prevent depredation by some of the critters down here. We want them to do well. And then they've also planted a lot of native shrubs. We've in conjunction with our pole planting operations with the cottonwoods, we've literally planted thousands of trees down here. Our friends at the Conservation District have done a lot of work on that as well. And we're just taking care of our place. And we are going to hand it off better than we found it, and that's really what this is all about. So I want to thank a couple of folks from the Bosque crew leaders, Kyle Ballady, Antonio Martinez, Robert Muniz. Members who served multiple summers are Kyle as well, Antonio, Ryan. Help me with it, Ryan. Cianchetti, and Spencer Ayer. And also what we did too, and I want to thank Barbara Taylor and her group. You should be up here, Barbara. I want to thank them too for doing other ADA accessibility measures. You know, we added an ADA parking lot at the western end of Tingley Beach, so those with mobility impairments can now access the overlook. There's that big deck that the Corps of Engineers built on the river down there. The deck's 150 feet long. If you come down here on the weekend, you'll see people enjoying that with their families as well. And to make sure that more of the ADA Bosque Trail is accessible, we're about to begin a new project adding another 1,000 feet of Crusher Fine Trail connecting Central at Tingley to the overlook deck. So once again, both sides of Central Avenue, we've been able to impact on this. A lot of people to thank on this. Mike Reardon and Barbara Taylor in particular. I want to say thank you. Barbara's our parks director. They've gotten in. Yeah, let's give them a big round. And Robert Ramirez, thank you, Special Projects Manager. Let's give him a hand. Dr. Matt Schmader, our former open space superintendent, who really has spent a lot of his time during my mayorship coaching me individually on how to do things well, how to do them right, and make sure that the impacts are minimal. These folks have taken more than an earful during this project, and I hope that they think it's worth it as well. The last thing that I want to just talk about is just just an invitation. I just want to invite our community down here. If you haven't been down yet, I imagine your cameras are capturing a beautiful scene behind me. This is the Siphon Bridge. We're going to go walk over that in just a few minutes. You're going to tell the stories with your cameras today and with your words on how beautiful this place is. So this is for everybody, and it is built for you. It belongs to you. The Bosque belongs to you. So please come down and enjoy it. And just really thankful that you're here this morning, and I'm thankful for this project. It's one of those things that needs to be taken care of over the years to make sure it stays nice. So now our job is to make sure that as a community we protect this trail, that we make sure that we keep it nice. If you're down here walking, and my wife's notorious for this, she brings an extra backpack. If you see a piece of trash, pick it up. And if you see something that needs to be done, let us know, because we're at your service. Total construction cost on this particular section was $2 million. The total time frame was February 2015 to April 2017, which is 2+ years. The design team was led by Matt Schmader and Robert Ramirez as well. And then there's some others that we've invited today that are going to speak that I want to thank as well. The Roadrunners Club of America, Ian Madison is here today, and Glenda, is it Muirhead? Muirhead. The UNM Adaptive Sports, Dr. Kathy Tingstrom is here, or was invited. Disability advocate, wheelchair user Mary Beresford is going to talk to us this morning. Human Rights and Diversity Director for my office, Gabe Campos, was instrumental in this. Our Bosque Youth Corps, Bike ABQ, we've got a great biking community here, and of course our Parks and Recreation adventure leaders, and last but not least, the people that actually did the work, the guys and gals on the skid steers and with the shovels and rakes that made sure that this is a beautiful place to be. So we have the largest cottonwood forest in the United States. Now we have a way for you to get down and see it. We invite you to do just exactly that. Now I'm going to introduce Mary. Mary Beresford is here, and she is the beautiful lady right here on my right, and we will make sure that she has some comments here today, because the mobility community, the folks that wanted to get down in the Bosque that had never seen it before, I think we're a real catalytic voice in this. This project was struggling from a perception standpoint until folks stood up and said, we want to be in our Bosque. And so I appreciate you, Mary. I appreciate your courage. I appreciate your leadership. And I really appreciate you just coming down here and using the trail. So with that, Mary Beresford, please feel free to make some comments.
Thank you. It's a good thing it's a portable mic, or a movable mic. I don't stand up behind the podium. If I did, it would spoil my whole gig. So I'll just speak from over here. So not only the mayor said he appreciates me coming down here, I appreciate the city being so open to access issues. I've worked with Matt, I've worked with Barbara, I've worked with others on this. And what's exciting is when I can work with people who understand what access means. One of my favorite sayings out of the Americans with Disabilities Act is that access like this allows us to boldly go where everyone else has gone before. So think about those words. I don't boldly get to go anywhere and assume I can access. I've been in all 50 states. I've camped all over the country. Very seldom do I ever find anything as accessible as this trail is. I've got about 4 miles. I can come down here with a book. I can come down here with my lunch, and I can spend the day just traversing this area. When they first did that first section up there, there's an area there where I can get within about 5 feet of the river. I've lived here for 20 years. For the first time, I was able to hear the river, get close enough to it to actually hear it. I couldn't touch it without falling into the river, and I didn't want to do that. So I got by with just listening to it, and that was exciting. That was exciting. You know, most people get to get close and say, oh yeah, we hear the river, we hear this. I don't get that very often. In all of the 50 states I've been into, very seldom do I ever get close enough to actually enjoy nature as it is. So it's exciting to work with people like the mayor, Matt, Barbara. other people who understand this is not a building code issue. This is not an architectural standard issue. This is a civil rights issue that just says, I just want to be able to come down and enjoy what everybody else is getting to enjoy. Now I can. I've got 4 miles of trail that I can come out and spend the day out here. I can listen to the Canadian geese as they go over. I can hear the river. I can see things that I don't normally get to see and enjoy. I brought my granddaughter with me, Jessica Bowen. Jessica has some limited mobility issues due to developmental disabilities. She's also been a part of this trail. She now gets to come down. Jessica, say a word or two.
I'm so glad I get to be here today to talk about how this trail makes everybody accessible. And
that's very good. That was great. Thank you, Jessica. So it's also people with children in strollers. Everybody gets to enjoy this whole trail. So thank you for the people that I've worked with and your understanding of what physical access is. When I first saw this bridge, I'm almost done, Mayor.
No, you're fine. You're doing way better than I did. You just keep going.
When I first saw the bridge, I thought, wow, the city really gets it, because it's not a makeshift, yeah, we had to do this bridge. That's a cool bridge that everybody gets to enjoy, and I get to go across it and say, wow, thank you, City of Albuquerque, for making this trail accessible to all of us.
It's awesome, Mary. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Wait, Mayor, before you go, can we ask a couple questions?
Oh yeah. We'll stay here. Let's just open. Yeah, I'll just wrap it up real quick. We got one more thing to do, but if you want to ask her questions right now, go ahead. You're up here. You're on a roll, as they say.
As they say. Yes.
So please.
I am always on a roll.
Well, you just said some wonderful comments. The only thing I was curious about is, you can just have a quick contrast. What would it have been like on the old trail versus what you've experienced today?
Oh, that's a good question. When we were first looking at phase 2 of this, I walked with Matt. We went down the whole trail, and it took a few people to help me get over little tiny areas. I did it. I'm a fairly active person, and I've been in a chair for 30 years, so I know how to work my chair and turn it into 4-wheel drive when I need to. But it was very, very difficult to get over some of those areas that, in order to get anywhere near to the river. Phase 1 allows me to get very close to the river, the bridge, of course, and then phase 2, not quite as close to the river, but it's fully accessible. So we've left a lot of the trail for those who like the natural part of the trail. And as someone had said, we took a lot of grief for some of that from the input from people who were coming saying, no, we need to leave it natural. No, we don't want all these people. I actually had somebody say, we don't want all those people down here. How rude is that? We don't want those people here, so we're going to make it difficult for them to get down. So looking at it from just that equal rights, civil rights perspective says, I just want to be able to do what everybody else does. I don't expect you to put in a moving sidewalk so I don't have to do anything. I just want it so I can access it, and so people like Jessica can, and so people with young families can. So it's just an access issue. So yeah, before, couldn't do it. I never heard the river. 20 years I've lived here, I never heard the river until they put that first phase in.
Thanks. Thank you. I want another round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. You were awesome. You did a great job. Last person I'm going to bring up before we go over the bridge here is Ian Madison. Is it Madison? Madison. The IE threw me a little bit there. And Glenda from Roadrunners Club of America. Part of this trail too, as you can see by standing on it, it makes a nice all-weather surface to run, bike, stroll, whatever you want to do on it, roll. And we have a great running community here. I know I've known this running community since 1982 when I showed up in Albuquerque with my pole vault and pole duct tape to the top of my old Oldsmobile. And I don't run as much anymore after the knee surgery, but Ian and his group do, and they're going to speak a little bit about some of their activities. So come on up, sir.
Just over a year ago, in the end of 2016, Albuquerque was honored with the title of a runner-friendly community. As we've just seen, people taking advantage of this trail testifies. This was awarded by the Roadrunners Club of America, of which the Albuquerque Roadrunners Club is an affiliate. Don't be fooled by the Roadrunner in those titles. Trails. The title's awarded for a period of 5 years, and it's awarded to the community, not to the club. And so we would like to hand this, the record of the award, this beautiful plaque, to the city in the person of the mayor, and like to see it hanging in a place of prominence in City Hall. The award's based on several factors, but above all, based on support from city authorities. And we've seen that in the development of the trails network, in the permitting of races, and in a general support for an active lifestyle in Albuquerque. The trails are a wonderful network. There's still work to be done on them. The connections east-west are not as good as those north-south, but we're standing on one of those excellent north-south connections. So maybe if we see continuing an improvement, we'll be standing somewhere in 5 years' time with the re-award of this plaque, similar plaque, for the next 5 years of Albuquerque as a runner-friendly community.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very much. That's great. We'll hang that in City Hall. We'll put that where everybody can see it. I'll hang that to Barbara Taylor. So if I haven't forgotten anybody, we want to get you over to the bridge. A couple of people I want to thank. Lee Landscapes is here. I see some of their folks. I was down here the day they were setting this bridge, and as a contractor, I can tell you it looked like a little bit of a tough job on that particular day, but they got it done and it looks fantastic. I also want to thank our other partners. The Middle Rio Grande Conservancy District really stepped up on this, and even when it was a time when there was a lot of concern about what it would be and some of the controversy, they stood with us. They understood that this is our place and we need to take care of it. We need to make it accessible to everybody. So I want to thank all the leadership and the elected members of their board as well. So unless I've forgotten something, why don't we regroup over here by the bridge? We'll do official ribbon cutting over there. And lastly, I just want to say it one more time. You've got an 8-mile trek you can take now. If you want to park at Central or Montano, it's 4 miles in both directions. You can access it in between. We have an ADA parking lot down here on this far end as well. And come down and enjoy it with us, because it's, like I say, it's our place and we should be taking care of it. And we are literally growing the next generation of stewards who are going to fall in love with this place. And nobody takes care of something better than something they've fallen in love with. And that's what this is all about. So thank you today.